Best Video competition while he was in the BioTools program. I'll invite him to share a little bit more about himself later, but also joining us today is Pius, the Chief Operating Officer of Alpha Layers Technology. So Alpha Layers Technology is our 2024 APAC company and also the winner of the Best Video competition in 2024. So join me in welcoming both of them. Thank you so much, Jim and Pius, for joining us today. Why don't we start by just giving maybe Jim and Pius some time to introduce yourself. Jim, why don't you start first?
Thanks, Glenn. Nice to see you all, and I'm happy to be here. For me, I spent about 15 years in the medical device field, have a master's in entrepreneurship, and I actually went to school in Singapore as well. I got a master's in entrepreneurship from NTU, so spent a little bit of time over there. But yeah, around 2018, I licensed some technology from a university near me and spent about 5 years building that out for Clara Biotech. Went through the first year of BioTools and then was able to exit that about 2 years ago. So BioTools was a great journey for me, and I'm really happy to be part of the Innovator family now.
No, we're very happy to have you with us as well. And thank you so much for sharing. Pius, would you want to do a short introduction about yourself as well? And Alpha Layers Technology, of course.
Yeah, yeah. Good morning, everyone. Nice to meet you. So, hi, I'm Pais Career. So, currently, I'm serving as Chief Operations Officer at Alpha Lace Technology. So, a MedTech startup incubated out of IIT Hyderabad. So, I graduated from Madras Christian College from Chennai, 2022. So, I started out my foundation in finance and compliance during my time as an auditor associate. Then I moved into a business development where I work closely on identifying opportunities, driving early growth, and over time I shifted into operations where strategy meets execution. So currently I'm serving as Chief Operations Officer at Alpha Lace Technology.
Thank you so much for joining us as well. Great. So I think right before we discuss a little bit more about what made your video stand out, how you produced your video, as well as why do you think you won and how you have used this video since the program itself. I will just play your 1 minute videos each so that the cohort has a good idea of what that looks like. Okay, just give me a short moment. Why don't I start with Clara Biotech? Can you guys still see my full screen?
It's not in full screen.
It's your window.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Clara Biotech was founded to help move exosomes from the bench to the bedside. Exosomes are nanoparticles made by all cells and act as the FedEx communication system of the body. We believe exosomes offer the promise to diagnose and cure diseases like Alzheimer's and cancer. The benefits of our platform is both in the purity and the specificity of our product and output, as well as a scalable processing platform. Exosomes have been notoriously difficult to purify until now. The industry requires pure exosomes and a scalable platform, and Clara offers a solution.
That allows us to have the exosomes ready for downstream applications, which is very appealing to researchers, therapeutic companies, and diagnostic companies.
Our company is going to be developing manufacturing and quality support for diagnostic applications, therapeutic manufacturing, and regenerative medicine. It's going to enable the next generation of technologies.
Were you able to hear the video from the sound from the video as well?
Yeah, it played.
Okay, sounds good. So that was an amazing video. Thanks, Jim, for sharing that with us. If you are interested to rewatch this video, it is actually available on Jim's LinkedIn page as well. Okay. Next, we will show you Alpha Layers' video itself.
Glaucoma, a disease that steals the vision of millions across the globe every year. Glaucoma requires early diagnosis to effectively manage it. However, prohibitively expensive diagnostic equipment has made it tough for people to receive early diagnosis and treatment. The company offers Intelligent Vision Analyzer, IVA, a virtual reality-based solution that can be used for screening of eye diseases such as glaucoma. After a cumbersome experience while testing for his own suspected glaucoma, Sandal Kotawala studied existing diagnostic equipment and came up with the idea for IVA. About 12 million people are estimated to have glaucoma in India. Almost 90% of the cases go undiagnosed until irreversible damage has been done to their vision. With IVA, glaucoma testing is more accessible, cheap, portable, comfortable, and quick.
Voice is identity.
Yep, so that was essentially the two videos. We will share this link with you, and if you're interested to watch the other videos as well, I think feel free to do so. All right. So now we'll go into really quickly the discussion for today. So Jim, Pius, why don't you share with us what do you think made your particular video stand out among your cohort? Jim, you want to go first?
Sure. That's a good question. I think for me, it was the first year of BioTools, so we had a little bit of old MedTech to look to, but it had to kind of figure it out. Um, the challenge with our BioTools program broadly is we're not fixing a specific disease or a condition, so it's hard to kind of tell that story. So for me, I think part of it was we have a very technical product a lot of people don't know about, but I think in the story, people were able to connect to what we did in an authentic way. I also think it was more about the people than the product. I used the video to highlight members of my team, and even to this day, they're still proud of getting to be in the video and sort of getting that light. So, um, why we won, I don't know if I can say for sure. People liked it better than the others, but I think it was really about the people, and it was about the story more than it was about the product.
So less technical, a little bit more towards a grander idea of why you set up the company and the kind of problems that you want to solve, right?
Yeah, we were trying really hard to make a timeless video so that when our product changed, it would still be a relevant video. And so we tried to make it a lot more about why do we exist? What are we doing? What are the big problems we're solving? And what's the company about?
No, thank you so much. And maybe Pius, why do you think you guys won the best video competition in 2024?
Honestly, I didn't believe that we should win the award, but finally we got it. So I believe the video stood out because it didn't feel staged. It looked real because it was. I think our video worked because we didn't try to say too much. We focused on single relatable message, the real world challenge, and how our product fits in. So it wasn't over engineered. It showed where we work, who we work with, and why this matters. And visually, I didn't feel scripted. You see real people, clinics, and use cases. So that authenticity resonated with the audience.
And I think you took I think maybe both of you took a slightly different approach. And of course, both companies and technologies are really different as well, right? But I'm actually really curious. And I'm glad you've mentioned this, Pius, as well. Did you guys go down physically to the clinics? And are those real, images of patients?
Yes, of course. We went to our partner hospitals at Arvind Eye Hospital, Pondicherry, to shoot this patients doing testing on them. So yeah, it was a bit of a challenge getting consent from patients doing tests and all, but it was fun for us. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that's what inspired your particular approach to doing in the words you've chosen, a very real video for people to connect with you, right? How did you guys land on that particular concept? Why did you choose to, go to the hospital and film patients when of course there are definitely certain challenges when it comes to filming in a hospital itself?
Yeah, just like I said before, we want to show something that we matters. Even we are making a 1 minute video, we would like to put in this video for investors and all, how our product matters to the people. So we just want to put this equipment to the rural areas and use it for outreach programs. So we thought, why don't we go to the hospital where our partnership is there and do this video. So this helped us really well getting patients. Yeah, we didn't get the part where patients feedback would be there, but if there's a next time, we would be doing that.
Okay, so you already thought about how you want to improve the video, which is really interesting. And when you did that video, right, did you start with a script or storyboard, or was the idea, to capture as much good footage as possible, and at the end of the day, then figure out how to put it together? How did you decide how you want to do that 1 minute video?
Actually, we reviewed quite a few MedTech Innovator videos from the earlier cohorts, and one particular video really showed us that you don't need a fancy voiceovers or 3D renders, just clarity in narrative and meaningful visuals. So that helped us in a lot of time and structure content better. So we saw what kind of formats work, how to visually structure one, 1 minute pitch, and how fast startups tell their stories effectively. So it gave us a framework without having to reinvent the wheel.
Mm-mm. Okay. No, I am glad that the resources we've shared in 2024 for previous videos actually gave you a good idea on maybe the different approaches that could be possible, and I'm glad you chose an approach that resonated with you. But I think Jim didn't have that luxury, being the first cohort of BioTools. So actually, maybe how did you approach your 1 minute video?
Yeah, I knew I wanted to do a few things, so I knew that, you know, you can shoot videos on your phone and probably come out okay, but I knew that it would be higher quality and feel better if we had real cameras, real lighting, and real people who knew how to use that equipment.
Mm.
And so I actually sought out a videographer group to help us create the video. Um, and I had to kind of shop around to find a group within our budget, but we found that. And I was like, okay, well, let's work on the script. And they were like, we don't want to do a script. We're just going to show up for a day. We're going to interview you guys. We're going to shoot some film, some B-roll, and we're just going to film as much as we can and we'll build the story afterwards. And I was like, okay.
Interesting.
So that's actually what we did. I wanted to build a script, but they were like, we'll just film it and then we'll put it together. And it was actually a pretty good process. It did take 4 or 5 at least rounds of edits to tune it in where we liked it, and we even had to refilm a few parts that we didn't capture the first time. But yeah, it was a kind of an odd process from the overplanned perspective because we kind of just figured it out after we shot it.
Right. Interesting. So basically the video team came to your office and filmed you guys as you went about your daily activities.
Yep. Yeah. We filmed at least a half a day. They interviewed the team, they interviewed in offices, they shot us in hallways, they filmed in the lab. Yeah.
Okay. No, interesting. And if you don't mind sharing with everybody, how much did this roughly cost you?
Ours was a few $1,000s. I had quotes up to 20, um, which was not in my budget, but I found a group again willing to work for a few $1,000s, and they knew we were, an early stage
Start
company,
up.
so it
Mhm.
worked out. But um, it's cheaper, like if you can do some of it yourself, like if you can do the editing yourself, that's actually the most expensive part. So it's actually cheaper to get people to just come and film and give you the stuff. Editing costs a little bit more. It's a little more work, so that's one way to save some money. We also, because of all the content we generated, we were actually able to also create additional videos beyond the original 1 minute video. So we had
Oh, nice.
other social media posts and other sort of small videos that we made off of this one. So we actually made the investment into multiple content.
Okay, so interesting. So basically, when you contracted the company, they gave you all the shots that they have took throughout the day, and you kind of repurposed it to the different I guess areas of the company
Mhm.
you needed. Oh, that's a very interesting way of doing it. I guess you killed many birds with one stone. with this
Yeah.
best video
Yeah,
competition.
because we were able to create a 3-minute, more technical customer focused video. So the video we have is really more broad, but we were also able to create a more customer centric video that went on our website
Mm.
that had some of this content, but also some content that wasn't here.
Okay. Wow, interesting. I think that's money pretty well spent, especially since you guys also won the best video competition and got the cash prize, right? So I guess it's good.
Net
Um,
positive if you
yeah,
win.
yeah, it's a net positive. Um, but did you use any tools to do the edits yourself? Or was there, for example, a marketing person on your team that helped with those edits?
So yes and no. So I have used various open source softwares to make my own videos and to do some simple edits on these. But for these actual videos, the videographer group we hired provided that as part of the service, and that included a few
Hmm.
rounds of edits. So we didn't do any editing on this video ourselves.
Okay. Oh, pretty cool. Um, Pius, I think you guys took a very different approach. Did did you also have someone come along with a camera and film this alongside you guys, or was everything done through your own cameras and your phones?
No, yeah, we did it. We have a strong in-house design team. So the device was done using tools like Adobe After Effects, Canva for overlays, and Figma for storyboarding. So everything from editing to final touches was done internally. So we didn't outsource a single step. So that gave us full speed and full control over messaging. So it was about making it clear and engaging in 60 seconds.
Oh wow. Okay, so you
Yeah.
basically really did everything in the house.
Yes. So Shreyas, our industrial designer, handled the camera and the post-production editing, and Saurabh, our operations manager, help plan logistics and coordinate on the ground. So also our CEO San Kotwala appears in the video explaining the
Yes.
test to the patient. Yeah, and 4 to other 5 team members are seen during the sessions. Yeah, so it was truly a team effort across functions. Yeah.
Yeah, and I hope producing the video brought you guys closer together as a team as well.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Um, and maybe on a more technical front as well, because you did it specifically in a hospital, right? And for the patients that appeared in your video, did you have to get them to sign some consent form or anything like
Nothing
that?
like that. Since we have already partnered with these hospitals, it was pretty getting easy the permissions and all. And we have shooted some of the scenes in office and some of the scenes in hospital. So the hospital is in Pondicherry and we are situated in Hyderabad. So the only expensive thing was traveling from and there. So that was the only thing that matters.
Okay. Okay, interesting. And if I could just pick your brain on maybe why did you choose one particular hospital over others? Is this hospital a particular long-time partner of yours or
Actually, yes. So it started with my CEO. So Sandal was doing BTech when he was studying in VIT Velu. So then he started going for a test for glaucoma. Then he came to know that why should we do a test by sitting very uncomfortably with the traditional devices.
mm-hmm.
So he came up with an idea to develop a VR headset or something where you can wear in head, which is very light, where we can do a visual field perimeter test. So Dr. Venkatesh from Arvindaya Hospital really helped with him to come up
Mm,
with the idea and to initiate this. So also this doctor and the hospital helped us getting many journalism and publishing many journals, and yeah, it goes on. So we have a long relationship with Arvindaya Hospital.
okay, so you went back to the hospital that started all this together with you and Sandal. That's really nice. I never knew that. Learned something new about you guys today.
Yeah, we should go back to roots before it's yeah.
I agree, I agree. And then I think that I guess that's maybe one of the reasons why your video maybe felt a bit more personal as well. You were at a familiar environment, with the support of the hospital that has been supporting you from the beginning until now. So I think that's a really inspiring story. Um, let's maybe talk a little bit more about challenges, right? Because I'm quite sure creating this 1 minute video was definitely not a walk in the park. What would you say, maybe from both Jim and Pius, some of the major challenges that you have encountered, right? And how did you overcome those challenges? Jim, do you want to start?
In creating the video.
Yeah, in creating the video.
Um, I think that one of the biggest challenges for us was just really figuring out the story to tell. Um, there's so many different ways you can go, and there's so many different preconceptions you have about the company and what people see and hear. And so for us, I'm so glad we started early because the first edits of the video I thought were pretty good, but we went ahead and shared them to investors and friends in our community and other people. And that feedback ended up being really helpful because people were like, I don't get it, I don't like it. And so we were able to take that feedback and again, kind of like go through iterations. I think you're never going to get it on the first try.
Mm-hmm.
You'll never get it on the first try. So just make sure you plan for 4 or 5 rounds of edits to kind of tune it into where it makes sense. Um, in terms of challenge, I mean, finding someone to work with us within our budget was really hard. It took a while. I wasn't even sure we were going to be able to do it. So I was getting prepared to kind of do some of it myself or maybe contact a student group at the nearby university to see if we could get maybe a filmography student to come do something with us. Um, but yeah, finding kind of something within our budget was pretty tough. But once we kind of got into it and we kind of got the experts on our side, at that point it was pretty straightforward, and they did a great job kind of handling the details. I think also we you should do this. We because they did us such a big favor when we won, I gave them an additional thank you bonus.
Oh, wow. There's an incentive.
Yeah.
Okay, that was pretty interesting. And I really really liked that you really went to show that initial video to the people you trust, right? To really determine if the message is being sent across. Um, what really inspired you to do that?
I mean, I'm an entrepreneur, so customer feedback is critical to success. And if you think you know your customer and you know what they want, but you never talk to them or ask them, you're going to be wrong. So for me, it was just kind of that entrepreneurial perspective of I need to hear what other people actually see. I don't need to know what I see. And so it was just really that process of validating the product with people who would be kind of the target customer and demographic of it.
Mm. And I'm sure you walked away with really valuable feedback as well.
Hmm.
Was it really?
And yeah,
Go ahead. No.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you're gonna ask this later, but for us, the video ended up being probably the most useful part of all of BioTools Innovator
Oh,
in
wow.
general, because once we had the video, I was able to, instead of like getting introduced to investors, even, they would say, send me your pitch deck, and I would say, well, watch this video. And
Okay.
if you watch a 1 minute video, it's a lot easier than reading a deck. And then if you still want to talk to me, let me know. And that ended up being a really nice marketing tool um, in terms of like getting introductions for investors. And also like on our website with customers, it was helpful too. But really, it ended up being a very valuable tool for the fundraising, which I wasn't expecting going into it, but having it, it was a really nice tool to have.
And I guess being an entrepreneur, you really found good and interesting ways to use the work that's already been done and done
Yeah.
well, I would say, to apply to other portions of the business as well. And I guess maybe that's also one of the reasons why at MedTech Innovator we've decided to really limit that video to just 1 minute, and to be able to tell a good portion of your story in 1 minute to inspire the subsequent conversation was really the objective. And I'm glad that I think on a good level we've managed to help companies to understand this as well. Pius, what about you? Any challenges you've had? I'm sure you've had quite a bit, since you really did everything from the ground up, your team and yourself.
Yeah. I would have to agree with Jim. So getting our story straight, it's a little bit tough. And honestly, there were many. So fitting the story in 60 seconds, that was really tough. So we had to keep asking ourselves, what will the viewers remember 10 seconds after watching? So
Mm,
prioritizing the right messaging without diluting the clinical relevance is really important without using the medical jargons. So
mm.
filming in real clinics and getting permissions, time permissions, things around patients and working with real cases and not actors. All that made the real experience more real and fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and I realized I think if we take a look at both of your videos again, your videos are very not technical, right?
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that was intentional on both your parts.
Um, Actually, yes, because we know that this video might be used later, and most of the non-medical persons also might be watching this. So it's better to use normal language, keep it simple and easy. So we didn't use any medical terms, so even many people could understand the videos.
Mm-mm.
And the main feedback was uh, most of the people said, "Wow, we understand what you do right now in the startup."
And I guess the impact and them understanding the impact that you would have and the reason why you guys are doing what you're doing as well.
Yeah.
Was
So,
it?
we created the video because we felt it was a unique opportunity
Mm-hmm.
to tell our story in a concise and impactful way. It's
Mm-hmm.
not just about our product, but the problem we are solving in ophthalmologic diagnostics. So
Mm,
glaucoma has been there for a long time. So as a startup from India, working with tier 2 and tier 3 hospitals, we often struggle to explain how different and accessible our solution is compared
mm,
to traditional global alternatives. So this video allowed us to bridge that gap quickly and clearly, making it easier for anyone who is not from medical or not to understand why we do and why it matters.
mm. Okay. So I see the approach you've taken. Very straightforward, trying to be less technical, using less jargons, to really increase just just in terms of the sheer amount of people that can understand what you guys do and why you do it. Was it really difficult to squeeze all the things you wanted to do into into 1 minute?
Yeah, we had to cut out a lot of things, but yeah, since we had a lot of reference from past MedTech videos, we knew how to start and how to end it. So we just needed a narrative which can be done in 60 seconds without using many, uh, 3D renders and all. So we just kept it simple. So that's why I started saying we didn't think we would get this award. So it was a big surprise.
And so how did you decide what to cut? Because I'm sure the first edition of the video would have been longer than 1 minute, right? And at that point in time, you really
Yes,
felt everything was important.
yeah, actually, it was just more than 1 minute and 20 seconds. So
Oh,
we
that's
just had,
cool.
yeah, we just had to cut out some of the scenes which were shooting in the office. So yeah, we were comparing. We took a lot of opinions from our team members.
Right.
So we visited together, just talked about it, what should we add and not. So it was a totally a team effort from our side. Yeah. So it made it more simpler.
Right. And so you prioritized, I guess, the actual shoots rather than the shoots in the office.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. What about you, Jim? Was it really difficult getting it to 60 seconds or 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 was it relatively easy?
No, it was hard. I think our first cut was somewhere similar, like it was around a minute 20, a minute 30. I'll tell you though, it's a whole lot easier to cut than it is to add. Um, and so for us, it kind of just came down to what's extraneous. I think we tried to describe the product a few different ways. We cut it down to one that worked the best. Um, some employees were talking. We cut their scripts down a little bit and cut out some of that part. Um, one secret I have, I don't think we use it here, but one thing I've done in the past is, if you're like a few seconds over, you can just speed up the video by like 1 or 2%.
We
Nobody
couldn't
can
tell.
tell,
We
but
couldn't tell.
that gets it in.
Okay, interesting. And I guess at the 1 minute 20 second mark, right? How did you decide which 20 second to cut out? Because 20 seconds is quite a lot, right? That's like a third of the video.
Yeah, it was kind of an interview from most of the employees' side that how they're working and all. But we thought we should be addressing the problem first regarding, and we should address the mission as well. There's no point of taking an interview of the teammates. So we just agreed upon that. So we cut out 20 minutes of that. And some office scenes that include the traditional devices being compared with ours. Yeah. So we
Okay, so
just
to cut
focused
out.
on what the real problems and the solutions.
Okay, interesting. Jim?
Yeah, and I think that's where you could create a different video. You
Mm,
don't have to have a 1 minute video for the world. You have different purposes. So you could have a 3 minute video or 2 minute video that's longer and less cut that has all the things you want for a different purpose.
mm.
Um, I mean, I don't really know if I have much to add here. It's just kind of you just cycle through it, you reiterate it, you look at it, you say, okay, what can I cut? Where can I cut it? And you just kind of keep cutting out little pieces here and there until you kind of get it down to the right flow. And like I said, for us, we got it down, but it still went through 3 or 4 iterations,
Mm,
even at that level, because it wasn't clear to people. The message didn't resonate.
mm,
It didn't have the right impact, and so it was kind of starting. Now we're taking stuff in, we're putting stuff out, we're moving the story around.
mm. Or getting the video until 1 minute and 2 seconds and speeding it up for it to fulfill
Yeah.
the 1 minute requirement. Okay, interesting. Um, and I think that really brings us to the last part, right? Are there any maybe things that you felt if you could go back in time to do the video again, was there anything you would have changed?
I think you asked me this question last year, and I think I said, well, my video won. So it did its job. Um, in terms of things I would have done differently, I don't think so. I mean, I think that our video got the job done. It got people excited about what we were doing, and it wasn't trying to tell them exactly what we did. It was just telling them enough to get them interested to ask more. Like, okay, that's interesting. I want to know more. Because that's ultimately the goal of this job and the video's job, and it's the goal of an investor's meeting job is it's not to get an investment when you first meet them, it's just to get a meeting. And then
Yeah.
your job at the first meeting is to get a second meeting. So really the job is the next step. And so for me, the video was let's get this first step, let's get attention, let's make it interesting. It doesn't need to tell our story in significant detail. It doesn't need to be exhaustive and educating. That's not its purpose. That's not what it's for. Its job is to get people interested enough to say, I want to learn a little more. And to that, it worked well. Um, and then to do differently, we kind of did that because we wanted a longer version that more technical customers could engage with as well. And so we had a cut for that too that had a little more technical detail. I think we had some light animation
Mm,
and some
mm.
graphics kind of showing more mechanisms of action and some things that they would care about. But for the video we did, I think it was pretty sufficient.
Yeah. Did you realize, and this is a curious question for me, right? Did you realize you could use the footage in these other areas, like doing a technical video, doing an investor video at the beginning before you guys started doing the video? Or was that like a aha moment, right? As you are doing the 1 minute video, you realized, hey, I could use this for this other video or use this portion for this other video. So was it planned or was it a pleasant surprise, I guess?
Who do you want to answer first?
Jim.
Okay. Yeah, I went in knowing that, because I was like, if we're gonna put this effort into this, it's gonna be, 1 day of filming for the whole team. It's gonna
Right.
be more days of distraction and editing and proofing. It's a big, and I mean, it's a small cash, but it's a big time investment. And for a
Yeah.
startup, that's a big commitment. And so it's one of those things like unless you're forced to do it in something like this, you have so many other more important things to do that you're not going to ever do it or get around to doing it or invest in it. So I knew I wanted to do it and I wanted to do it right. And I knew that if I was going to do it, I was going to get and wring as much value out of it as I could. So I did approach it, even with the videographers. I was like, okay, we're doing this, but I also want this longer video. And
Mm,
so that was part of the package. And
cool.
I used to do 3D animation as well in the past, so I have a little bit of a working knowledge of some of these things as well. But yeah, I did go in wanting to figure out how can I maximize the value of this investment.
And I guess it turned out really well. You kind of got like a mini 1 minute trailer of Clara Biotech, if I could put it that way.
Yeah.
What about you, Pius? Was there, is there anything you would change?
From the video. Okay, a lot of things. First of all, I would have changed the camera.
Change the camera?
Yeah. After releasing it, we realized it was very low quality, but it seemed truly good. But yeah, so we also thought about using split screen videos that would work well, like showing the before and after side by side comparison.
Okay.
Yeah. So even animations to explain the system's level impact. So these work well when done with clarity and brevity. So
Mm,
also
mm.
seeing real users or patients speak, that's something we want to explore next time.
Okay. Oh no, and I'm glad. I think the 1 minute video, I think even though there is an end outcome or deliverable, which is the 1 minute video that you have to submit to MedTech Innovator, right? I think the
Hmm.
process seems to have been really enriching, would you say?
Mm, we weren't really planning to get this video to get rich, but we were really trying to get this prize. So,
Mm, mm,
but it was a really surprise. We have used it for many things later on. We have used it video across various touch points, from playing it on screens on conferences like AAUC, All India Ophthalmic Conference, APAC, DOAS.
mm,
We were playing it on screens and QR code stands and major conference. So it really constantly draw doctors to our booths and to sharing it to the distributor meetings where the partners even adopt it as part of their sales pitch. So it's also been really useful during demo requests where doctors often reach out to us after discovering the video online.
yeah.
So additionally, we have used it in academic discussions at
Mm.
institutions like VIT Vellore, IIT Hyderabad to illustrate the innovation pathways.
I think you've answered the next question I have for you, right? And that was after the creation of the video, right?
Hmm.
You really have tangible outcomes and how have you used it? And I'm glad, and I'm glad that the video, you guys have really put that video to good work. Um, um, and I think Jim, you guys have used that video and you've received really clear, tangible outcomes from using that particular video as well.
Mhm.
Okay, sounds good. Any final tips that you guys want to share before we go quickly into Q&A? Besides, start early and you will need a lot of time. Don't start 2 weeks before. It's gonna be a mad scramble to get a good video out. But besides starting early, any hot tips?
I would
I
say
would, oh,
have
go ahead, Pius.
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, um, really try to understand what you have
Mhm.
because you probably have a relative or a friend who has some videography skills if you're trying to do it in a tight budget. Just use the around you for resources and ways you can do it cheaply. Like I said, and as Pius said, I do think it's worth, if you can, investing in the higher quality cameras and lights. It does make a difference in what the professionalism of
Mm,
the final product looks like. Um, Whether you approach it with a script, which honestly a lot of people do, most teams do start with a script and kind of work the script first and then film to the script. and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I would probably recommend it. It's just that my videographer was more comfortable in the other direction. But
Mm.
the nice thing about the script is you can quickly build test that,
Mm.
and you could even film it cheaply, quickly, just roughly to do a rough cut and just say, hey, does this kind of flow before you invest in the bigger committed direction. Also, if you can or do, I would, if you want to do animations, those can be used again in many multiple ways. And I think it's worth if you're have somebody with the skills. There's lots of great free open source tools to do all this
Mm.
stuff.
Mm.
There's Blender for 3D modeling, editing, video editing. You can do everything with it. So if you've got a little bit of that background or know someone who does, you can even hire them,
Mm.
maybe cheaply on Upwork or some other resource to find some people to help you. But yeah, just get scrappy and find the right resources. But I would say come at it with the goal of winning. Whether you win or not doesn't really matter, but get yourself a winning video that helps be worth the investment you're putting into it,
Mm.
and just do the best you can with it.
And of course, use it in all these different places as well, to make your money's worth, right? Cool. Pius.
Yeah. So I would add said, try not to fit your entire product catalog in one video and don't overpace it. Just keep it
Mm.
simple. Yeah. And I would like to agree with Jim. Yeah, this is not about winning the prize, but have fun making the video and yeah.
No, thank you so much, gentlemen. And I think everybody on online just join me in thanking Jim and Pius for your time today. We will be transitioning into a Q&A segment that will be exclusively for the MedTech Innovator